Hello and welcome to another wonderful episode of Iron Port. This program is proudly brought to you by Serene Insurance, Gold Company Limited, the Ghana Revenue Authority, the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, and Ghana Link, who are the operators of the Integrated Customs Management System. Our proud media partner is the Business and Financial Times. This week, we engage some industry players to review the year 2021, as well as take their projections for the year 2022. And we engaged the Executive Director of the Center for International Maritime Affairs Ghana in the person of Albert Derek Fiatui, and also the President of the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders in the person of Eddie Akron. Let's take a listen.
Let me begin with you, Mr. President, and find out, 2021, how did it go for you as a freight forwarder and your industry? I mean, was it all rosy, was it, a mixed bag? Was it, a lot of profits and all that?
Two of the topmost issues on my mind right now. One is that of the foreigners in our trade and why we have to be careful, not to let this, get away from our, we need a serious bird's eye view of that situation to make sure we nip that in the bud. That's number one. Number two, there is a creeping matter which I seriously want to talk about.
Right.
This is about the joint border post situation at Akano and what our people at Aflao are going to go through. So interestingly, the Akano thing came a bit late because then we received a letter that they had to move the whole joint border post, the border post thing, to Akano. Now, it's something that's been sitting on our books a long time, an agreement that's been had. But in my mind, we had to tread cautiously, okay? Because there are basic issues there. Let's take it economically. Aflao itself, right now, what you see as Aflao is there because of that border post.
Right.
The booming situation, the economic situation, the banks that you see moving in there, all the setup of infrastructure, the offices and, setting up of infrastructure there is a major, the border is a major thing.
Yeah.
Now, a very sharp deviation from that could almost see a defoliation of their Aflao the economy there, that situation. Okay. And that is tough. But now let's talk about Akano and why we need to tread cautiously. And because the other solution, or we can either say we are moving a few things that maybe let's start that by transit or something. And then, but to move everything, see, there's about a 60-40 situation. What's coming in is about 60%. What's going out, the export, is about 40. Okay? And so for that economy there, what is coming in, all that traffic that is coming, is what is making that whole, four square area boom.
Yeah.
What is the problem with Akano? Okay? Now, first of all, that is in Togoland, where it is positioned. Okay? What are the issues there? They vary. The major one is revenue. Because the whole idea is that we want to secure revenue.
Yeah.
But that is a national security matter, because if all these things going through there, if there are any frustrations, you could see, and I'm a pessimist, but then if all this whole situation, we keep at it, that everything has to go through there, we could see a deviation, and people might want to find easier means of getting away.
Right.
And that is what we don't want.
To cheat and beat the system.
Exactly, and that is what we don't want, because we want to secure revenue. So we need to be careful on that front. First of all, what do we have? We have a very erratic electricity situation there. And so at night it gets dark because we haven't solved that problem yet. Infrastructure in itself. Now, are there offices there for agents who want to work? All the other institutions who want to work, do they have offices there? Okay? Number three, we're using internet. I mean, we don't have the same systems. We're using ICOMS. They're not using the same. Now, we need that to work. So what happens? Are we going to sit in Aflao and do documentation, go there, and if there's a problem, come back to Aflao to resolve that? Because there's a serious merging, the communications, things in Togo mess with ours.
Right.
And so when we go there, now how do we operate? Okay? Now, there are serious issues like way bridges. Now, a lot of revenue from trucks that are coming, whose taxes, duties depend on the weight. Okay? Now the way bridges there have a problem. Okay, in Akano. So how do we secure revenue if that has not been resolved? Okay, the parking situation alone, even for trucks, the number of trucks that are going to go through the border, all of that has not been resolved. So there's serious infrastructural backdrops.
Right.
And so if we do not look at these things and we make a very sharp move there, my brother, this will not sit well for us.
Let me come to Mr. Fiatri and find out whether you've done an assessment, on the impact of COVID-19 on the maritime industry in Ghana. I know you mentioned a few earlier, but have you deliberately done anything towards that to identify some of the challenges, some of the impacts it created in our industry?
Yes, of course, we've done some research, and like I mentioned earlier, there were a lot of shocks. But the major one which we came out with some assessment was that of the freight forwarders, where during the period, a lot of the companies had to lay off their workers. Some people will have to shut down completely because specifically the freight forwarding sector has not seen any, stimulus package from government, as has been done to other subsectors of the industry, and for that matter, the entire economy.
Yeah.
And you know that the freight forwarding is one of the key players of the industry.
Yeah.
Once there's a problem there, it affects every other sector.
And you and I were in this studio. We came with a customs officer to explain this issue.
Yes.
That foreigners are taking over your business. Right. And he was explicit when he said that some of you aid these foreigners, you front for them, and they take the business.
There is nothing like fronting. If you are my friend and you're saying that, now I'm going to use you, it's just like any client bringing me business.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Anyway, what I decide to give you, as to how I report that, as long as it's legal, that's okay.
Right.
But then I can't use any illegal means to transfer monies out to you. And then also the government sees into my business, and so I'm going to pay the right taxes that I have to pay. You understand? It's a very, close-cut situation that once we go by the law, then there's nothing like fronting.
Right. Right. All right. So I recall you mentioned the fact that some of your people had brought their documents for you to endorse so that they can get, certification from, customs. And you realized that the directorship or shareholdership wasn't what you expected, and so you had to shelve them and then perhaps get them. What's the status of these files?
So it is still the same thing. I mean, they have gone away because we cannot endorse their documents to go to customs. Now, customs also, I think that they were here with my friend, and he accepted that they are not accepting anything. They check the status. So one of the requirements, the prerequisites for renewing of our documents was to make sure that you have your Registrar General's documentation to show. Okay. One other push we need to make also, which we did, wrote to the Registrar General's department and said, please, this is the law, so make sure that if anybody comes in to register to do the business of customs, then make sure that they do not have any, 2% hiding somewhere of any foreign ownership.
Right.
It has to be Ghanaian.
But let me still stay with you a bit and find out how pervasive you think this particular trend is. Because you mentioned the shipping lines and indicated they also fall foul of this particular trend. And we also pick signals that the established companies are clearing for companies, to back the operations shipping lines. And so when they bring the goods, the containers, they are able to clear themselves using their own company. How pervasive
Trust me,
is this trend?
It is very pervasive. This is, like a specific effort that they have put in, that this is what we want to do what they call end-to-end. So even if our laws do not allow it, they will want to find a way around it. And that is why it's becoming pervasive. The sad part is that they are the shipping lines. So they're carrying the cargo. They're carrying all the project cargo, all the huge cargos there. They, have the manifest right in front of them. They know who is bringing in the biggest cargo. They're making deals with the cargo, and they have done several. Sometimes they call us forgetting that we are freight forwarders. So they call us, says, oh, we can clear your stuff for you. You're calling me from a shipping line, telling me you can clear my stuff for me. That is not your business. This is my business. And then they find out we are not okay. Some of them have been in letters, emails, which we have seen. So we have a lot of evidence. Okay? So if they're doing all that, they get here at the same time they want to do the clearing, take it out, do the transport and everything. At the end of the day, they have the muscle.
Okay, so let me come to you, Mr. Fiatri. I know you are a think tank, you research a lot, and you perhaps would have done some research into this issue of foreigners taking over, deals or businesses that are reserved for indigenes or local Ghanaians. Can you share some of your findings with us, if you have any?
When we came here the last time, we petitioned the economic management team and the presidency.
Oh, you did?
Yes, and we were called to a meeting together with the Shippers Authority representative. And during the discussion, we pointed out everything that we needed to point out. And it was agreed that indeed the law is there. What my president is saying is true, that if there is any ambiguity, we have to go to the Supreme Court for interpretation.
Absolutely.
But what is very clear is that we need to enforce our laws. Those who are responsible for the enforcement of the law should first take the step, and then when there is somebody defaulting, then we know what to do.
Right.
So on that side, we think that there is much more to be done by those who are responsible for that. Another issue that we are much concerned about, which has been discussed earlier, is the issue of our shipping lines. We are not against our shipping lines. They are our key stakeholders. We are working with them. Without them, we cannot survive. And so we appreciate everything they do. But sometimes when we come up with some of these issues, it's as if we are antagonistic to the activities. But that is not the case. We are only saying that what cannot be done in other countries should not be done here. What we have realized from our research is that there is the need for a stronger regulatory measure to be able to control our shipping lines. We think that the Shippers Authority is not able to bite enough. I don't know if they don't have all the powers that is required for them to do what they are supposed to do, or the Ghana Maritime Authority is supposed to get an additional mandate to make sure that there is some level of strict regulation when it comes to the activities of our stakeholders, which are the shipping lines.
You indicated during your submission that you have letters and emails from these shipping lines, and these can serve as evidence, of course. When it comes to perhaps legal matters. Of course. I remember the last time I asked you whether you were willing to go to court, since you have amassed such amount of evidence to be able to prosecute your case in court and get them to understand that we have the laws and you are flouting the laws and you're not supposed to do that, so that we can nip this thing in the bud once and for all.
Like I'm saying, we have lots of evidence. That's for that when it comes to them. See, in their minds also, and I'll tell you now, I'm afraid to say, they think they have a lot of muscle. And so when it comes to, say, going to court, I mean, they can bring in all the, the topmost lawyers in the world to come and say, look, it is a governmental matter. And then the government will have to put its feet on the ground and say, no, this is our country. These are the laws. Obey them. Okay? If the law says that you cannot, you don't work on holidays. Okay? Let me give you a simple matter. You do not work on holidays. You don't work on Saturday. You don't work on Saturday. It's even moral. Why do you maybe want to charge me demurrage on days that you do not work and cannot receive cargoes? We just went through a holiday period. Okay? 24th was a Friday, so 25th, Saturday, Sunday, the Monday, 27th, 28th were all holidays. If you go back now, every box that came in on Thursday or Friday is attracting the same number of days to them. They won't take it out of the demurrage days. Now tell me where the fairness is in that. Okay? So if our law say that the doing of a thing starts actually on a day which comes after the holiday. So if it's a holiday, you cannot count it, but they will. Okay? How would they have their own exchange rates which they use? You bring in the same box, go to this one shipping line, and then go to the other. Such a sharp difference in the rate. What are administrative charges? If you want to go back and tell how we even arrived at these administrative charges, it is sad. We were having a conversation with the Council of State last year, which was also one bright spot. And they were visibly shocked at the kinds of things that we're talking about. And we're wondering if these things are really happening in our country. Yeah. And I said, yes. What you see as administrative charges on their invoices is something that started at some $10 back in the 80s when the containerization boom started. Because our ports were not really, we didn't have the facilities to handle these boxes. And so they wanted quick turnaround for their vessels, had to hire their own machinery to make sure they could offload their vessels faster so they could leave. But fast forward, what has happened? We have one of the best, ports in sub-Saharan Africa. And even faster turnaround time, which means they should be making more money and should be happy. But now what is the situation? Why do we have to get a clear box from the, releaser box and pay as much as over $1,000 US? Considering the freight that you have paid. Because everything in the freight has been taken care of, including the local charges. And once you are there, they tell you that, okay, if you go, this is how much you're going to pay for local charges. Everybody does that. How come we get here? Nobody's aware. And then they hit you with all these, local charges. Plus deposits on container, which also takes, a big hold on the customers, on the clients, monies.
What are your expectations at CIMAC for 2022? And what are some of the policies for the industry that you want government to avert its mind to? We are, aware that in 2021 we had a launch of the, National Integrated Maritime Strategy, which is the biggest document to push the industry forward. What are some of the issues that you think that government should avert its mind to?
Thank you very much. As an organization, we are very optimistic and upbeat about the year 2022. What we think about policy issue is that what we have now, we should take stock and make sure that we really look at the things that we are doing right and those we are not doing right, so that in the end, we can take the right decisions. You mentioned the maritime strategy. Yes, it's a very good thing that is being done, but we believe that in a whole, as a nation, we should have a national maritime policy, which is lacking at the moment. And as a center, we are having a discussion and championing it strongly so that we present it to government, so that once we have that national maritime policy, all the other issues of policy will be captured in it, including the cabotage and all the discussions that we've been having. So we think strongly that when we have a holistic national maritime policy, all other issues will be addressed. People in the industry will have a clear path as to where to go, and then we will avoid political interferences and all the other things that come sometimes as knee-jerk reactions.
All right, so those were the thoughts expressed by our guest in the studio as part of our review of the year 2021 and also their projections for the year 2022. Iron Port returns after this break.
Every now and again, Goil makes good things happen. This time, Goil has introduced Super XP Ron 95, a higher grade fuel loaded with additives and yet sold at the same price as normal fuel. Goil Super XP Ron 95 enhances engine performance like never before. It maintains the engine by keeping it clean from carbon deposits. Goil Super XP Ron 95 is designed to burn slowly and thus improves fuel economy, making you save money after several kilometers. Goil Super XP Ron 95 gives you a smooth driving experience, that is, less vibrations. Fill up with Goil Super XP Ron 95. Now there's no need to pay more for any higher grade fuel. Goil has that sorted. Goil, good energy.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water, or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Impressive factory. If only I had listened to you, I wouldn't have been in this mess. That devastating fire virtually wiped out the whole factory and my warehouse.
Remember my misfortunes last year? Serene Insurance Asset All Risk Fire policy that I took were there to pay for my damaged stocks in the warehouse. And my machines that were affected by the floods have been replaced. My accident vehicle is back on the road thanks to Serene Insurance Motor Policy. Currently, my goods are on the IC covered with their marine cargo insurance policy. I was just telling Ajima about Serene Insurance.
Oh, Ajima,
tell him more.
As a road contractor, I make sure I do my contractors all risk insurance for the projects and then workers' compensation for all the workers on site. With Serene Insurance, they will make sure they will cover your unknown tomorrow today.
Serene Insurance, a new face of insurance. Call us now.
On behalf of the board of directors and management and all staff of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, I am happy to announce once again that we've come to the end of another year. We've come to the end of 2021, and we are happy to still be together, to have good memories of the past year. That it has been a 2021 year that we all expected to be better than 2020 because of COVID. I want to use this opportunity to congratulate all of us, GPHA staff and management, our port community, shipping lines, freight forwarders, customs, all other state agencies working with us, ICOMs and all the other entities that have worked together throughout the year for the achievement that we've had. So far, statistics are showing that we've done better in 2021. Even 2022, 20 that had challenges, we did better. And we've come into 2021 even with better results, as the statistics will show by the end of December, when we've compiled our full cargo and vessel statistics. So we are looking forward to 2022 even with brighter hopes that we'll be able to do better. I want to use this opportunity to wish all of us a Merry Christmas and a very prosperous and healthy 2022. Let's continue to keep safe from COVID. Now there are new variants that are coming in, so it's not over yet. We need to continue to remain safe, abide by the protocols, and live healthily into 2022 and then work better. Good luck to all of us. Merry Christmas and a very prosperous New Year. Thank you very much.
To our dear staff, 2021 has not been easy, but we want to thank you for being dedicated to work and also for the achievement that we have achieved together this year. And to our valued customers, thank you for your support and for doing business with us. We know that 2021 has not been an easy year, but we hope for the best in 2022. I wish you and all your families a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year as we continue to observe the festivities in a safe manner. Afishiapo.
I am also taking this opportunity to thank the Honorable His Excellency Tobisri, the Omafia of the Alon Kingdom, Tobi Akolache, the Dufia of KG, for giving us opportunity to come to your community to build Kita Port. I'm also encouraging all MPs, opinion leaders, stakeholders within the Kita environment to support us as we bring this great development to Volta region and the OT regions. We are hopeful that 2022 will be a great development process for us. On behalf of all the supporting cast of the Kita Port project, the project engineers, administrative staff, GPHA staff, unions, workers, I wish you a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year.
You're welcome back from the break. Now, international port and maritime news next.
Swiss container shipping major Mediterranean Shipping Company has submitted an offer to acquire 100% of Bolloré Africa Logistics, comprising all of the Bolloré Group's transport and logistics activities in Africa. Bolloré Africa Logistics, a subsidiary of French transportation conglomerate Bolloré SE, is one of the biggest transport and logistics operators in Africa. Completion of the transaction will require the approval of regulatory and competition authorities, as well as of certain counterparties of Bolloré Africa Logistics. Bolloré Africa Logistics is present in 42 ports and operates in 16 container terminal concessions, 7 roll-on, roll-off terminals, 2 wood terminals, and a river terminal, plus a conventional stevedoring activity. With regard to shipping activities, the group has a network of 85 maritime agencies. UAE-based port operator Abu Dhabi Ports has signed 2 agreements with China-based Shandong Ports Group to establish the region's first tire hub and strengthen trade and shipping links. The first agreement will see the parties establishing the hub for the storage and distribution of tires at the KZAD Logistics Zone. The second sister ports agreement is expected to further bolster trade and shipping links between the UAE and China.
It's now time for the schedules of vessels in the ports, those at anchorage and those expected in the coming week, plus the Bank of Ghana exchange rate you need to know to clear your goods at the ports next. Your comments are next.
This one is from Isaac in Takwa. He says, I think the shipping lines and freight forwarders must sit and resolve their impasse in 2022. This, I believe, will make the shipping industry tension-free. My name is AC in Takrade. I think COVID didn't really affect the port business in 2021. I expect cost of shipping to reduce drastically in 2022, so the cost of goods will be cheaper. This person asked, please ask the GIF president if they have ever sanctioned any of their members for being intransigent. Have they ever reported any of them for fronting for these foreigners? The GIF president says yes. His outfit does sanction such intransigent individuals.
So that's all for this week's episode of Iron Port. Thank you for watching and thanks to the entire crew. Join us same time next week.